Hi everyone. At the request of a few people, I'm going to show you guys step by step how I make the hay bite cookies that Orville is always insane about. Um, I'll show you just exactly what you need to do to make the ones that I make. Now I know there's 100 of these videos on YouTube. Um, I've tried them all. They never turn out like the video. And so the last video I made that had anything to do with these, I think it was about 2 years ago. And that's when I was pretty frustrated because they don't turn out like the YouTube videos, or at least mine didn't. So I'm going to show you my process. And when you're done, they aren't pretty, so it's not something that you're marketing and buying because it's cute because you like it, but it's something that the rabbits really like. And you can do them in 100 different ways, but I'm going to show you just the basic way, and you need almost nothing to do it. So to get started, you need a blender or a chopper or whatever you have. You might have something better than I have. And I'll show you the process with this thing. I hate doing this part. But I'll show you that process. You might have a better chopper. You need scissors. You need hay. You need bananas. To do the average batch, you need about 3 bananas. I'm going to do like a double, triple batch, so I've got a bunch of bananas. You need a mixing bowl, and you're going to need something, to keep the hay in as you ground it, but also something that seals so that when the cookies are done, I don't know about your climate, but yeah, I hate it here. The climate here is horrendous, but I've had them actually rehydrate. So they need to be in something that can be sealed. If yours soften up the next day or something, just throw them back in the oven for like an hour and it fixes it. And then I've never had to rehydrate them more than once. So this is all you need to get started, and we will go step by step. Okay, I'll see you in the next section of this. Okay, I wanted to add one thing here. First of all, I use a small cookie cutter. This makes just about the perfect size for one treat. It's one of those miniature cookie cutters. It's maybe an inch deep, and you see this one's shaped like an egg, but it really doesn't matter. So a small cookie cutter. And also, I was going to say, I've got bananas here, but you can also use pellets. A lot of people use pellets. I don't like to use pellets, one, because the pellets I use are expensive, and it's not good for them to always be eating a bunch of pellets. And that's one thing. Two, they stay together just fine with the bananas. But if you want, say, apple or papaya or some other different mix that won't make some kind of stickiness, then you'll need to throw a little bit of pellets in there. And you just throw them in the mixer, grind them up, and add them to the mix until it's basically like a batter. So it's kind of a common sense thing. Yeah, so I wanted to add that, but you can do bananas, papaya. Sometimes I do apple and banana. You could use carrot hay, botanical hay. You could put flower petals, one in the top of each one, and let it dry in there. So 1,000 different ways to do it. But again, this is just the basic way that I do it. So this will get everybody started, and then you can just use your imagination and have fun with it. Okay, for this part, all I do is I go over to the hay bin and I just cram a bunch of hay into the blender, and then I just take my scissors and just chop at it, get it all down in there. And you'll kind of do this off and on throughout, trying to get it ground down. Okay, next thing you're going to do is you want to put it on the blender, if I can do this and hold the phone at the same time. Okay. Let me see. Okay, I'll just kind of show you how I do this. You can see it start to grind down, and then at a certain point it kind of stops. So I just take this to loosen it from the bottom. Chop it down some more. Do it again. If I can get this thing in here. And you just do that. It'll work its way down, and you just repeat that process until it is reasonably ground up. And this is what you'll get. It won't be perfect. They say make it like, you know, just completely tiny ground up, but you don't need to. In fact, sometimes I have long pieces in it, and it doesn't bother anything. In fact, in my mind anyway, I don't know if it's true or not, it seems, you know, they have to actually ground down some hay other than just having a cookie that's made of hay. So in my mind, it works better. But yeah, it doesn't have to be tiny, tiny, but it does have to be ground down pretty good. All right, so I'm going to do the first batch with 3 bananas because that's probably what most of you are going to be starting with. So I'll do this in separate batches for myself, but I'll do this section with 3 bananas so you can kind of get an idea of how much of what to put in, because I don't really have exact measurements. It's kind of one of those things that I'll show you. You're looking for a certain consistency. So first we need to peel the bananas. Okay, once the bananas are peeled, the most important part of this whole thing is to have a piece for your bunny. Morty, Orville, who wants nanas? Ah, yeah. Come here, babies. Come here. Yes, we're going to get your cookies in the oven. There you go. Can't see ya. Is that good? That's good. All right, so next, I just take the bananas and I just break them up a little bit. Just toss them in. All right, and then next, I just come over to the sink and I just put a little bit of water in just to get started. All right. There's a long story behind how I got stuck with this blender. Anyway, if I can get that to fit on. And then okay, you don't want it watery. You want it to be thick, but not, you don't want it like a milkshake. So if you can kind of see that consistency, see how it kind of sticks. And I didn't put almost any water in, if you noticed. Okay, so this is a 1-gallon container of the chopped up hay. And you can see it's about 3/4 of the way full. Just to give you an idea of how much hay is here. And at this point, you just kind of guess until you get the right consistency. So I'm just going to put some hay in here, a couple of handfuls. And it goes a lot further than you think it will, too. Okay, so I've got a couple of handfuls. I'm going to start pouring the stuff in. All right, I'm going to attempt to do this one-handed because I can't find anywhere to put the camera. All right, so you just start mixing it up. This is just a baking spatula. You can use, you know, whatever. You can use your hand if you want. You don't want it too runny. I've had these things take 5 hours. I've had them take 10. So it really depends on the consistency that you get when you do this. I know it's hard to tell if you're not actually here, but if you can see how wet this is, way too wet. So I'm going to throw some more hay in it. All right, I had to pause the camera because the bowl was sliding around. So I've got this mixed up pretty good. This is a pretty good consistency, but when I start squeezing it through this, I'll see all the liquid that's in it. So I'm going to put just a little bit more hay, just to dry it out, just a little bit more. Kind of like putting a little bit of flour in potatoes to thicken them up. All right, so this is much better. Again, it's hard to tell on camera if you can't see it and touch it, but it's mushy. There's enough in there for it to stick, but it's not, there shouldn't be fluids like squishing out. Okay, so now you want to set your oven somewhere between 200 and maybe 220. Every oven is a little bit different, so you may have to fill it out. But the lower you can do it, the better. Because I found out that if you cook them over 220, they come out looking cooked more than dehydrated. So, you know, the bunnies don't complain about it, or they hadn't. But so I figured out if you just lower the temperature a little bit, instead of coming out browned like you cooked them, they come out a nice, just dehydrated. All right, so you want to take just some of your mixture and take it and just squish it down into the your little cutter, whatever you're going to use. You could even use the top of like a Coke bottle, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a cookie cutter, whatever works for you. I have noticed, though, I mean, you could just put them on there in blobs, but it's important that they're really squished together tight, so that when they dry, they don't just kind of fall apart. So anyway, I squish it down in there, and then you take it and just push it through. My hands are nasty, but I'm going to try this. And you take it and you just set it on your pan. And so just put them, you can put them pretty close to each other, so you can get quite a bit on a pan. I will get almost this entire batch on this pan. So the 3 bananas, the way we've done this, will be about 1 and up to a half of another pan this size, depending on how big you're making them. But, and see, I still got a little bit of liquid out of it, and it's mixed pretty thick. So you really want to mash it in here and get out the extra liquid and make sure it's really packed. And then just put it on your pan. I'll let the bunnies try the batter. Sometimes they'll eat it, sometimes they won't. So maybe it's because it's, you know, it's wet. I don't know. I'm going to give it a try and see if they want any, but don't be surprised if they don't. Do you guys want to try the batter? Morty, Orville, do you want to try the batter? You want to try your cookie batter? Okay, babies. It's the wet batter. You want to try? Okay, it's a hit today. Is that good? That is good. Yeah. Bunny approved? All right, so I will do the next section see you in 5 to 10 hours. Bonus section. As I was doing my pan, I had a thought. I have got untold amounts of these sticks, and the rabbits won't chew them, so I save them up for crafts and stuff like that. And so I was standing here and I was thinking, okay, I know what I'm going to try. I save all of the crumbs and everything from any treats that they have, whether I make them or I buy them. And I keep them in these little jars. So I always keep the jars if I buy them something. And so what I did was I put some of the crumbs down and I put a little bit of like a sprinkle of oats in there. And this is what I'm going to try. Because if this works out, you guys might want to try this too. Let me pick a stick. I'm going to go with this one. Where's the camera? Okay. I'm going to put it in the batter. See if I can get it good and wet. Maybe a little bit of that stuff to stick to it. Watch me just make a mess. Okay. Get it good. You know, I think this would be better if I dip these in the batter before I put it in the hay. Just an idea. So I may try that when I do the next batch. But I'm going to get it really wet, and I'm going to roll it in these treat crumbs and oats. I see 0 oats sticking to it. So I'm going to do this one, and then when I do the next batch, I'm going to dip these before I put it in the hay and see how they turn out. Okay, let me show you what I figured out with those sticks. Okay, instead of waiting till I made the next batch, I thought I would just do this because I have to squeeze all that stuff out every time I put a cookie on the pan. So I just would work this into the liquid that I squeezed out. Okay, again, trying to do everything one-handed. Then, instead of rolling it in it, what I did was I just sprinkled it over it. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to put it in the pan with the cookies, and we'll see how those turn out. Okay, so I am right at the 5-hour mark, which is usually when I check them the first time. So let's pull them out and see what we have. All right, so what you want to do is you want to feel one of them. See how that squishes? That means it's not done. And let's see how the sticks are doing. Those look pretty good, don't they? Those, I might be able to take those out. Wow. Those look pretty good. Okay, I'm going to put them back in, and I'll probably give it another hour or two and check on them again. I went ahead and pulled the sticks out because they really look good. I think they're completely thoroughly dry. And look at these. You guys should try these too. And I can imagine all the different things that you could roll it in and different ways that you could make them and so forth. And I'm going to try a few too. But this was a pretty good idea. And I'm pretty sure the rabbits are going to like it. And maybe it'll encourage them to chew on these sticks because I've got like 1,000 of them. Anyway, they look good. I'm going to test and see if the rabbits like these. Hey, Orville. Look, baby. You want one? All right. You like it? Where's Morty? Okay, that was awfully fast. I didn't even see you coming. What about that? Are they good? Is it good, Orville? Yeah, the sticks are a good idea. All right, so we're at 7 hours, and you can see I've been kind of moving them around, and they are still slightly squishy. If you are not sure, you can leave them out. I let these set out for about 5 minutes and cool, just so I could just be sure that I wasn't going to over dry them. I mean, I guess if you can do that. But in any case, they're not quite done, and we're at 7 hours, and so the next segment I'm just going to skip to whenever they're done. Orville, baby, they're not done, sweetheart. I know. I can't make the oven go any quicker. He does this the whole time. He'll follow me back and forth to the kitchen. He knows when I'm letting him cool so I can check them. And if I wait too long, he'll come get me from the living room, like come and check the cookies. Almost, baby. Just a little bit more. All right. We are right at 8 hours for this batch. So, 6 bananas filled this gallon container, 1 gallon container. So that's pretty good, especially if you only have 1 rabbit. So here you go. This is the finished product. They are ugly and messy, and the rabbits absolutely just cannot live without them. Guys, you want a cookie? They're done. They're done. They get stuck in your fur. Yeah, let me know what you guys do with this recipe. If you can put pictures up, or, you know, just comment and tell me what you do, because there's so many different ways that you could do it. And if you have a better way to do it, let me know. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm always open to making things easier or more efficient or better. So thank you for watching. I hope that helps. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys do.